by Michelle. Chief and bring Bill.
Also new members of Township.
Welcome everyone. Today is Monday, November 15th, 2021. We're here for the regular Board of Trustees meeting on Township. Call this meeting to order. Pat, please call roll.
Mr. Grumbles?
Here.
Ms. Taranto? Here. Mr. Rivers?
Here. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any public comments tonight before we get started? Hearing none, we'll pass the microphone to Ms. Taranto. We have a special commemoration tonight, and we'll allow Trustee Taranto to introduce the resolution and speak to the subject.
Thank you for allowing me to do that. It means a lot because Lynn meant a lot to me, and over the years, I didn't expect myself to get emotional. Anyway, I wanted you to know how much he meant to me. We had a lot of fun together. We spent a lot of time together. He was telling me earlier, he would come make me run around the shopping center at my restaurant and to keep me in shape. And I know how much he cared about Orange Township, about our trails and our parks. It was a passion, as well as he did some things that not everyone has done in the area. One was he made all of our parks non-smoking. He collected a lot of signatures for that. He was the chair of our Parks Board when it existed. Came to many meetings. I still remember Lisa and I celebrating his retirement. What did we celebrate? We had cake, and it was really neat. We had it here in the hall, and all past trustees showed up for that, so that was really neat. So when we heard of his passing, we really wanted to find a way to commemorate him. And the township is actually doing something that we have never done before. We have never named a park or a trail or a bridge after anyone. So this will be the first time that we've done that. And go big or go home, right? We are going to do the, we're going to name the pedestrian bridge over 23 after that. And I'll show you this after I read the resolution. It's truly a mock-up. Silas will give you a copy of it, but we will have plaques at the entrance and exit of the bridge commemorating them. We'll also put this in the next township newsletter, so everyone knows. You also have some people here tonight that came just for Lynn, Dove, and Lisa Knapp. This gentleman here, your name, I'm sorry. And so we wanted, some people definitely cared about him and wanted to come and hear the resolution.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I got to know Lynn actually walking through your neighborhood, and when I knocked on his door in 2019, he invited me in, and I believe that's when I met you as well, and we sat down at your table, and he talked to me a lot about the township, about the past, and took me to the basement and showed me decades of yard signs that he had collected over the years. He gave me tips on my yard signs and told me that he definitely knew the best spots and was willing to hop in the car with me and go around and talk me through campaigning, which I found interesting. And what he didn't tell me, we talked about the parks levy. What he didn't tell me is that he was going to create a PAC an advocacy group and do the legwork and put signs up all around the township supporting something that was near and dear to his heart in the process. So we loaded up my station wagon and my Subaru Outback, and we took off and we spent the entire day in our township putting up signs and talking with folks. And he would tell me the history of every spot that we put up signs and why it was of benefit. We would put my signs up. He would tell me where my signs should go and where the park signs should go. So it was time well spent. And checked in with him several times. He came to a couple of campaign events. One of the things I loved the most about him was he would tell you when you were right and wrong. He would definitely let you know when you disagreed with something, or give you feedback whether you liked it or not. And I really appreciated that about him. I appreciate that about anyone who will do it, because it speaks to their integrity and their transparency, and just look that they stand for something, right? He also mentioned the bridge, and the bridge is fitting a tribute to him because he shared some disappointment over the fact that it had not been connected yet. And he was very vocal, and I could see the emotion and passion as he described the bridge and connecting it up to Liberty and finishing what the intent was. And so it meant a lot to him that was built, but more so of the potential that bridge could unlock in time. And I really appreciated my time with him. He stayed in touch with me, messaged me, became my Facebook friend, and was a good man. He never once mentioned his own struggle, his own fight. And I can't even imagine, what all he was dealing with at that time, after he finally did tell me in one conversation, what he was fighting, his battle cancer, and to have the energy to jump in and spend the day in a car putting up signs, to sign those forms with the Board of Elections and put forth that effort on behalf of the community, it really speaks to someone that's truly driven by a passion bigger than himself. And I support this 100%, and wanted to share that story with you because I think it really captures his spirit and his fight. So really proud of what he did for this township, and that I got a chance to know him.
And I will tell you, I know that one of the things Lynn wanted was to connect Orange Township to Liberty Township, and I know that Ben has made that a priority of his to try to find a way to make that happen next term. I hope that happens. Lisa, did you want to say anything before I read this? I know that he meant a lot to you.
Sure. Do I have to move this down?
Here you go.
I'm Lisa Knapp, and my address is 228 Hideaway Court. And I knew Len for probably 35 years, I guess, because his daughter and I went to high school together. So a very long time. But I really got to know him when I was the secretary to the Parks Board. And we drove around looking at different rec centers, and that's when I really got to know him. And he was so incredibly passionate and excited about parks and fitness, and he just made me feel like a real slacker, actually. So he would tell me he's running 7 days a week, and the reason my knees hurt from running is I need to change my shoes. Yeah, and I've never always. And he was at every. It was just so. It was always positive. And even when he disagreed on something, he would say it in a certain way that you would take it seriously. And he was just, the guy had so much passion in him and so much excitement for parks and wanting people to get fit. And he showed up at every parks event. There was nothing he was never at to lend his support. And I know in 2009, I think he was the first adult to jump into the new pool at Orange Township. And I have that on video somewhere. And at that point, of course he was. And I told my boys, I said, Len has, I think it was stage 4 cancer at that point. And I said, I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. And my kids were so sad about it. And then he just kept going. I mean, it was incredible that he was such a beacon of light and such a positive attitude. And I mean, I think about when all these years, I think about him, on a weekly basis, even thinking, well, what would Len do, or what would, just so many tips he gave me in life. And he was just a real fighter. And I'm so glad we're naming the bridge after him, because he really deserves that. So the community is very grateful for him and all he's done. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm very sorry for your loss.
I just want to add, I'm taking this from the resolution, but I think that sums it up. Glenn's sense of humor, kindness, energy, and graciousness has enriched those fortunate enough to know and work with him. With all that he's done for the parks, township, and the community as a whole. I really very fortunate to work with him, whoever capacity was, brought the energy and the life of Karen who did.
I move the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas Len T. Fisher has actively involved in our parks and trails, chaired our park board, and was on the WARPC board for many years. And whereas Len T. Fisher's sense of humor, kindness, energy, and graciousness has enriched those fortunate enough to know and work with him. Whereas Len T. Fisher imparted knowledge and wisdom to those he mentored, compassion and selflessness to those in need, and inspiration and encouragement to those he led. And whereas Len T. Fisher's unwavering commitment, willingness, and ability to understand and respond to the concerns of the people of Orange Township has made a substantial contribution to the betterment of Orange Township. Whereas such efforts have been to the benefit of Orange Township and enhanced its sense of place and community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, that Len T. Fisher is recognized and commended for his many efforts towards the betterment of Orange Township and its community, and for the consistent resolution, passion, and commitment he has displayed in making such contributions. Be it further resolved that Orange Township hereby requests and supports to name the pedestrian bridge over Route 23 to the Len Fisher Memorial Bridge. Be it further resolved that the Township's fiscal officer shall certify a copy of this resolution to Len T. Fisher's family at her earliest convenience.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
We're going to sign an official copy of it so that you can go home with that tonight. Do you have that now? Or? Okay. We'll just wait a few more minutes and we'll get that signed.
I just want to let you guys know that this would be even during the last couple months of my tear. When I was thinking about what would I want to do to honor my dad, I was like, God, this would be great if we could name a trail after him. I'm not kidding. This is like what I had been thinking. So this is the perfect way to honor him.
And he was there.
I love that bridge.
He was there at the ribbon cutting ceremony also when we did it.
I think we had pictures of that celebration.
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes we would do these things before. You know.
Okay. All right, moving towards the consent agenda here, are there any items that are of concern?
I did not have it.
No.
I did change the agenda under the increase in appropriations. That we're doing.
Yeah, that's fine.
The previous, where it says the appropriations changed the amount for the previous under fire fund was actually the previous resolution or appropriation was $500,000, about $111,000.20. That should be at $500,000.
Where's that?
So is that change the agenda item or just it changes? I don't know. It doesn't change the agenda item. Okay. Okay. It's going to be under fiscal. So I can point it out when we get to it.
I know we're still working through some technical things. I just wanted, I'd gotten a text from my edge guys here. I believe the meeting started, YouTube started later than what we started.
Okay.
They were asking why the meeting wasn't on. I don't know if something happened. Just so while we're working through the bugs, I thought I would mention that.
Double check, make sure it's on.
It showed up.
You should be able to go backwards if needed, but.
Showed up 9 minutes ago. I feel like we started the meeting around 6:05, so maybe a little late. Came on late.
It is live now, and if anybody wants to go back, you can go back.
Okay. This is just so you know for next time something happens.
Okay. I have a copy of that.
Right. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-372 approving the electronic record for the proceedings from the regular meeting held on November 3rd, 2021. Resolution 21-373 approving purchase orders and then out purchase orders and blanket purchase orders is listed. It's an agenda.
Okay. Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto? Yes. Mr. Rivers?
Yes. Just call it.
Okay, thank you, Board. So tomorrow, Tuesday, November 16th, the Zoning Commission will be holding their organizational meeting, and they will be discussing minutes to approve, adopting the 2022 calendar, and update on the zoning resolution rewrite. And just a heads up on that, staff has completed their review of the zoning resolution, our current one, internally. We spent about 6 to 8 hours looking at the code page by page together, and so we do have comments that will be forwarded on to the consultant. We will then have a meeting with the consultant in a couple weeks from now and work on our plan for our public meetings. Following that, on Thursday, November 18th, we do have one application, a variance application and conditional use for crash companies off of Columbus Pike. So they have made modifications since then, but we'll see what the BZA decides that evening. Following that, we already have an application for the next BZA on Thursday, December 9th at 6 p.m. That is variance application number BA-21-16, and they are requesting an area variance for an existing patio in the North Orange development. And that is all I have for the zoning report.
Questions? Move on to operations.
Thank you, Board. The OTAC group has just about finalized all the plans for the holiday celebration. We move it to North Orange Park this year. And in your package, there's just a lot of details about some of the activities and the pieces and parts and components that are included in this year's holiday celebration. So all the usual tree lighting, some extra bells and whistles with train rides and extra lights and Santa letters and all that. Just wanted to bring up to the board to, I guess, put on the record for December 5th from 4 to 7. And let everybody know the OTAC board is coming together and did a great job with that and put together a lot of great activities for the community. And hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and we'll have a great event, which will be our first larger scale event in quite a while. So looking forward to that.
I think the parking will be a little kind of packed here. While I love having it here, the parking is not conducive.
And that's one of the considerations. So that'll be hopefully be fun, be able to spread out a little more, and obviously add a few more things with the pond, and bigger shelter, and everything as well. So hopefully everyone's able to attend.
If we can put on hold for just a minute, we'll sign this, and if we could get a picture with the family and the trustees, would that be okay? For our next newsletter? Want to use your cell phone? When you want to, on the table?
Might take 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have us, you get us all in?
I got it. All right. 1, 2, 3.
You?
All right, Chief McNeil, on your section, I believe this revision of the revised resolution here, is that replacing what was formerly 375? Is that correct? Where you had the $100,000, this resolution?
Yes, that was one way.
Okay, so Chief, when we go ahead and motion after we talk through it, I'm actually going to do 374 first. Okay. Which will make the funds whole, then go into the purchase of the vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and talk through it.
All right, thank you, board. So this evening, I'm bringing to you a request to purchase a new Medic. As you know, Medic 362. It's a 2007 Medic. It's got some of the older safety items on it. It's also got some issues that we've had in and out of maintenance. So it's about time that we look at replacing it. Fortunately, any vehicle right now, it's about a 14 to 18 month wait. So the sooner we get it on there in queue, the sooner we'll get it. I was able to work with the company. The original price came at 368,000. But we're saving $44,000 by taking off the power lift from our old truck to put it on. We're gonna give it to the company for them to install it, so there's no legal issues if something happens. But we're gonna give it to them. So that dropped 44,000, and then on December 1st, there's a 5% increase. So that's why I'm bringing to you tonight, kind of last minute, because that'll save about $16,200. So the total price of $324. So therefore, I'm coming tonight to ask for the purchase of the vehicle for $324,104. And then also to relocate the fee, for the appropriation of increasing for our motor vehicles to from 240 to 1.4 million. And that's going to be on the next agenda. We're going to look at the replacing the engine. That's also about 18 months out. So
I think we're gonna do that tonight, right? That's what you did tonight?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna fix the funding tonight so that when we go after the ambulance or the medic, that's covered. It's a different resolution than that. They just cleaned it up. I want to add too, I know there's been a lot of emphasis on fiscal conservatism and making sure we're minding our dollars. 2 weeks ago, I actually went down to a manufacturer with Chief and Miss Bonnie and saw firsthand Sippin, family-owned business in Hilliard. Fantastic family, multi-generations. They've been building fire trucks and apparatus for generations. And they're built from the ground up right there. We talked through the supply chain constraints, their lead times, talked about the industry. And my concern was the frequency at which these vehicles are replaced. And I really wanted to hear straight from the manufacturer why it's so important to keep them working and healthy. It's not so much the engine on vehicles. In fact, the engines are longer lasting capacity than anything else on the truck. The pumps, the stress and strain of the framing, everything else that goes along with emergency vehicle brakes, everything other than the engine deteriorates rapidly with that kind of use. And with the medics specifically, inside of those life-saving measures and restraint devices, things like that, are consistently updated. And so I think they had 3 or 4 engines all going to Miami and different areas of the country that they were building in real time. And he also encouraged us that if we do want an engine, we need to get on the list ASAP because of the increasing supply chain costs that every month they're seeing price differences. So while we were there, we talked about how we could save money, and there's different things that you would be willing to negotiate with Stanley on our behalf. And so that's why we're moving forward now with a lot of these, even though we won't get them in a year and a half, 2 years. We're trying to take advantage of the faith of the manufacturer and make sure that we're in front of the supply chain constraints that are only going to get worse. So I wanted to share that with the public. For a very informative trip. They're a great company to work with, and I know the same through. I talked to Chief about this specific purchase and earlier this week, or last week rather. So with that, if anyone else has questions before I get the 2 resolutions knocked out related to this.
I do not.
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-374, revising and or increasing permanent appropriations established in resolution 20-401.
Mr. Gumbel?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-375, authorizing issuance of a purchase order to Care Incorporated in the amount of $324,104 for the purchase of a new fire department medical.
Second. Mr. Gumbel?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
All right, thank you, board. And one more thing for discussion and just more information to let you know. The fire department is going to be supporting the people in need of Delaware County for the toy drive. So we're going to have a box over at the fire station to collect toys up until December 10th. However, on December 5th, between 1 and 5, which is an hour with the holiday party, we're going to have a drive-through at the station where people want to drop toys off or have a trailer in there, let them drive through one of the stalls, take toys and drop them off on their way to the holiday in the park. So I just wanted to let you know that, and hopefully if you're able to come out and support, it would be awesome too. So.
Thank you, Chief. And are you working with Ms. Bonnie on getting that out on social media? And
We got the final word today at the times when they need the toys. They need the toys by December 10th.
Okay.
So we had to wait for that before we put anything out. Yes.
Thank you for partnering with that.
No problem.
Chief, I know you didn't mention this too, but I think it's important to note there were a couple of purchases on the consent agenda as well with the fire department. The chest compression system, annual maintenance for the batteries, and new ECG equipment.
Yes.
And I just point that out as we purchase this, having seen it firsthand in operation with the cardiac arrest at the station last month. So just sharing with the residents, these are important. Technology is important, and these purchases are used to save lives, attempt to save lives, and so I'm proud of the work you're doing to make sure that we stretch our dollars and that we stay on top of it and offer the service that we've been expected of us and going forward.
Appreciate it.
Okay, just 2 items tonight. The first is a liquor license, whether or not we would like to hold let's see, it's actually there in the title of the resolution, a hearing for liquor license for iguanas. I believe they just changed ownership, so that's the first item. And the second is just accepting the revised certificate of estimated resources based on the changes we made to the funds over the last couple meetings, as far as creating the fund for unclaimed funds and moving those monies around. That changed our certificate of estimated resources. So you're just accepting and approving the one that has been signed by Delaware County and is included in the backup. How about that?
Get my consent. to
Yes.
not move the hearing. Any questions on the resolution proposal? Make a motion to approve resolution 21-376, accepting and approving the revised certificate of resources.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes. All right, Ms. Bonnie.
Yes, thank you. Before I begin, Silas, I don't know if you wanted to add anything more to the holiday event? I didn't know.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No, I'm happy to answer questions. I try to put it all in the report there. Hopefully with all the media, social media and all the advertising we're doing, hopefully it'll be self-explanatory, but I'm happy to answer anything that may be as well.
It looked really fun. Who designed the social media ad? How did you do that?
The social media ad was done by a friend of OTOC.
Okay.
The best way to put
It
it.
looked really good.
Yeah, the banners were done in-house, or designed in-house, and the social media ad was done by someone else. So happy to have some friends and people help pitch in and make things a little better for us.
So I don't know if you know this, but we actually bought a tree to be used every year, and it would grow and grow, obviously. So I noticed in the minutes that they were looking at buying another tree or something. I understand having to move it for parking going forward. I don't know if it's possible to move that tree, or I don't.
Yeah, we haven't discussed it much yet, just based on timing. It's something I definitely want to look into, a more permanent solution to be able to continue.
I just wasn't sure if you knew about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at moving it probably in the springtime if that's the route we want to go with it.
Okay.
I definitely think we need a more permanent solution than buying a tree every year. So.
Right.
Okay, thanks. So just a few updates under the administrative report. The first is the website. I know this has been a long time coming, but we are very close to the finish line. I've met with both Guide Studios and Go Media, and we are having an expected go live date with the new website in mid-December. So Jess Hewitt, Val, we've had a whole bunch of people involved with this as far as the content goes. So we will be having several meetings with each of the department heads to go over the content. I will say to the board, we're hoping to still go live even if there is some content that needs to be fixed along the way. I don't think the website's going to be perfect until we start having to go live and see what the information needs to be updated. Seems like that was a lot of the holdup for these past several months, and I think we're comfortable moving forward with what we have and then working on the updates as we go. Following that, obviously, with the mock-up room improvements, you all can see today that we have made significant technology improvements here, and we actually have.
Phil stepped out.
Oh, it's up. Okay. We had Phil is he's from Edge Technologies. He put all this together, and basically, all the board members, we have extra ones because we have our zoning commission holds as 5 members. So these are our new microphones, and if you press, that's when you are unmuted. So if you want to be unmuted and press it to speak, I can adjust that accordingly. I figured it was easier because I think it'd be hard to forget if you're talking to always press it. But as far as how we stream everything on YouTube, that is the same. These monitors are obviously for the board members in the audience to view. I have been flipping back and forth when appropriate, so the YouTube channel does see these. But these are our wireless microphones. Everything's connected to the YouTube stream, and we have speakers that are installed in the back now. So when we do have a larger attendance.
I would just add that catalyst growth of this came from resident feedback. We had an email from one resident in particular, our technology that I forwarded to you a month ago. And appreciate you responding to this. And the ability to hear, even when you're in the meeting, has been shared is difficult, but see what we're doing has been consistent feedback. And with the new monitors, I don't think anyone will have a challenge to go forward. So for those that have been to our meetings for some time, I think you might agree with these improvements that they're Very significant. Much appreciated. So
Yeah,
thank you for doing that.
Sure, and we were fortunate enough, we were able to actually work from our current system and build from that. So
Right.
we didn't have to really go, we didn't have to start fresh.
I was, pointed that we didn't have a discount.
Oh, this stuff, okay, I'll work on that.
CARES wouldn't fund this.
There are other features we can add along the way. If we wanted audio for videos in the future, I think what else Phil mentioned. So there's different things that we can work on. We might be working with, but we are working with them for the fire department's training room. That was funded through CARES, and we might consider them for the video conferencing. Just wanted to give an update on that. If you have any questions, let me know. And then the last item on the agenda under our administrative report is obsolete items, which I believe is just 2 lawnmowers that are. I don't know, Silas, is that something that you had on there?
Yeah, these are just to replace two new ones that we bought recently. These are 7, 8-ish years old, give or take. And our hope is to get into a replacement program before these things become a maintenance nightmare for us. Typical to a lot of other departments do is ride it for a few years, put them to bed, recycle them, trade them in however we want to do it. But this is kind of just getting rid of 2 of our oldest ones to pretty much allow us to use our 2 new ones without having extra equipment later.
And actually, Phil just stepped back in. So Phil was the one that helped us put all of this together. So we thank you for your services. That's all I have.
What's your plan with the mower? You're going to scrap them? Or?
They'll go on gov deals.
Oh,
They'll be auctioned.
The discarded or salvage would really be auction via gov deals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been trying. We do start with the backup deals first.
Okay. Can I modify the resolution then, or will that be? I just want to make sure that it counts.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-377, finding certain personal property not needed for public use, obsolete or unfit for the use for which it was acquired to have no value, and ordering it to be auctioned on gov deals or discarded or salvaged if available.
Okay. Ms. Trumbull?
Yes.
Ms. Trento? Yes. Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
I'll clean up those resolutions moving forward.
That's okay. I just want to make sure that any old business? No, new business? Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to bring this up to the board's attention. We have had a handful, not too many inquiries about renting out this township hall. Again, and obviously with the pandemic, we did put a hold on most of all of our indoor rentals, and we wanted to, see if the board wanted to revisit that, or not, I guess. The only concerns, at least from what staff has, is that with all this new technology that we just purchased, we would be hesitant of saying having like an event or a birthday party or something to that matter. But I think if the board was interested in board meetings, I guess it would be fine. But I really wanted to open up the conversation and hear from you all.
As far as this specific room goes, I have no interest in doing that. With the equipment, that's one concern. I think we can use it for community events like, fall gatherings, and I know we've had craft events and such in here before. Because there'll be township staff here, the concern I have is the proximity to the working area, and that there's no barrier outside of the work that can open from this side without recall. And the fact that we moved our break room now, there's frequent people bypassing through that they could disrupt any meetings. So you either don't utilize your break room or you disrupt a meeting, right? So it's a lose-lose. I think we have facilities throughout the township that we could leverage as an alternate or in lieu of this. And the pool has some rooms available, and we could look at additional space that we could, potentially leverage. But this specific room, you know, I would have concern just with there being no barrier. I know the main reason that we remodeled the front was to provide a safe barrier and security, right? So we allow an open door and people drop the door open, you're defeating the purpose of that investment. Not to mention that we've invested here beyond unmonitored, and we have all of our new offices and facilities in the same hall. I just would find that a bit disruptive to the work being done here.
So,
Which is critical.
do respectfully disagree. The township hall, it does belong to our community. They pay for it. We should be able to use it. I do agree on the parties. I don't think it should be used for HOA meetings, scout meetings. I was talking to, I think it's Phil, with Edge. He was going to think about how to secure everything, which is what we did previously. We secured everything. We haven't really ever had an issue with anything being tore up. There's locks on doors. They only have access through that door. We lock everything else going that way. And it's really needed for our HOAs. I've spoken to 2 different HOA communities so far that are very frustrated and want to be able to come back to the meetings. I think it's our duty personally to use.
Is there a reason that they're opposed to like the North Orange building, that giant room in the middle where Botox and everyone else?
I did offer that one up. Yes.
Is there a reason they can't be there?
I don't know if they didn't. A lot of it maybe is proximity. Maybe it's they've always had their meetings here for 30+ years. I don't see any reason to.
Didn't seem like the one email I saw didn't look like they even scheduled it. Looked like they just showed up to use it.
But still, process still with open for you. I mean, we've done it for so many years, I guess, why would we stop?
Just the change we've made is the only concern for me. It just changed the whole dynamic in the.
That's why I think parties probably wouldn't be a good idea, because then that's, but for just, you know, HOA. And that room now is completely off.
Correct. Would they, would there be a willingness to look at the time that they're available for rent versus just having it full scale whenever they want, or?
Well, we've always had a calendar, so obviously it's not available during big meetings, other meetings.
Right, I guess I mean time of day.
Normally they're in the evening.
Well, I can look at, I guess it'd be, okay.
I think the preference would be North Orange, which is a here. I don't see that being a problem. As long as it's good on. Yeah, I haven't heard you on that. Doesn't make sense. The whole HOA, putting a slot there.
And the break room be locked?
Yeah, that's what we love. That door and the break room can be locked.
Not door people?
They're not right now,
Okay.
but
They can't.
you'd have to get the EPS, I believe it is, the company that does the swipers, the card swipers, and attach them there. So there'd be a cost, but we could do it.
So would it be, since it's an HOA, I'm okay, I'm not opposed to an organization type, as long as it's scheduled. The only thing I would say is, we all are typically clear here, correct? So I would think we would want one of the township representative here. One. And then. Fine with that.
Normally they have key access.
Yeah, we would give them a temporary key card.
They don't normally have staff.
Not typically in the evening.
Okay.
Well, let me look at to see how we can secure the equipment. I'll work with Edge on that, and we'll look at, we should probably be securing the break room eventually too.
the group, the AA group that used to go on Saturday or Sunday morning, it was a really large group. That still happen or not?
And we really haven't heard from them.
Then there was a group that met weekdays in the mornings that had all sorts of foods.
Volunteer seniors.
And they have their meeting at the Yes.
They are more or less on hiatus or dissolved at this point. Last I talked to them.
Okay.
We moved them over to the North Orange Community Room, and they had one meeting. And
We've changed
essentially shut down.
the eat the fob system too, so you verify that everything's done. Doable.
Have to take that into consideration then.
Yeah, I think Ray's ordinance not. Make sure that it's after work hours.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. I guess, I don't know if we need to have an official open date, but I'd like some time to figure out the security of at least the microphones, and maybe we can close that.
Maybe you can just put them all, both those wheels at.
Something we can easily
Yeah,
install.
Comcasters. You can just put it, wheel it over to the break room with the microphones. You're done. Can't put it back there with the window.
How about 12-1?
We will not be done with construction by 12. Everything that matters.
But this room will be okay. Will you be able to secure everything by 12:1?
I doubt it.
You want to just make it?
First thing.
But probably buy us enough time. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we, have that on the website?
Yes, yep.
Start scheduling it everywhere. Finish construction. Right?
Thank you.
Opioid settlement.
Yes, I did modify the resolution that's provided in the.
Real quick, on this consensus though, are we the consensus is to limit it to HOA groups? Is that what I heard from the previous board meetings?
Board meeting, official organizations, official meetings. I think it was HOAs and we said scouting.
There's, Alice, I know that would meet,
I would recommend we limit, I wouldn't specify scale or HOA, because it has, it could be.
I'll let this limit to HOAs, the rest we use in one board. Is that fair?
we start there.
Yeah, we can revisit it if a bunch of people complain.
Mr. Rivers, your consensus?
Fine.
And that would, Lisa, that would be limited to your business hours.
Sometimes the opioid settlement here.
Yes, like I said, I did modify the resolution, rules, mainly, to have you as the chair execute the agreement as well in our notes, so we can keep it down, so just, I'll email this to you.
Is this something that you can get all of our signatures tonight on?
I think we have to.
Yeah, this one, the one I sent you, right, Michelle? This one I emailed about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they had a cutoff, so we have to get it completed tonight.
Actually, let me, you have to sign to, the resolution isn't the one with the signatures required.
9 days is the, council representative, right? Okay. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-378, emergency resolution to accept the material terms of the One Ohio subdivision settlement pursuant to the One Ohio memorandum of understanding and consistent with the terms of July 21st, 2021 National Opioid Settlement Agreement, and naming Trustee Grumbles as the township representative. Sign the copy.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry, do you need something signed by all three trustees? Just the,
You can sign the resolution if you all agree to it, and you can sign an official agreement. Yeah. I think it's fine. The agreement's what matters. We need to get that off there.
The example resolution provided by the prosecutor's office.
Any other matters tonight that need to be surfaced before we adjourn?
anything else, Michelle?
That's all I have, thank you.
Take a motion to approve resolution 21-379, meeting adjourned.
Mr. Trumbull?
Yes.
Ms. Canfield?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.